Hello, welcome everyone to another week of Wrestling Reality Rundown. We greatly appreciate all of you for checking us out this week, and we hope you guys could join in on the interaction on the chat. So, who do we have here this week? Well, we don't have SKF Effect. He is on a secret obligation. But here, keeping it professional and keeping the work done here on twitch.tv/Wrestling Reality Rundown, we got the Red Standard right here. We got It's Me Invasion right there. And we also have Live1122 over there as well. People, say hello to our viewers.
Hello.
Hello. It's so weird. I don't even have the ability to just like hey or hi anymore. I always, no matter what, even if I'm passing somebody, I'm just like, hello. I don't know why.
I'm just weird. I'm just weird, so I have to do it in a weird way, or I'm not gonna say anything.
A simple way to just do wonders.
Yeah. Also, hello, people in chat. Just gonna try to promote this out. There we go. All right, so it's kind of been the. Okay, I can see you. I just got nervous for a second. So yeah, you know, it's kind of been a slow week again. I feel like we said that last week. But there has been, you know, some updates through each company, some different sort of things going on, events coming up, stuff being promoted, and then stuff leaked, of course, through like wrestling journalism, whether it be websites or things that they're planning upcoming. For some smaller things, just to drop mentions that I don't think we can talk about for a very long time. There's talk of Renee Young leading WWE's news show on Fox Sports 1. And then, of course, Sean Spears got signed by AEW, which is really cool. But did you guys want to talk about, like, Stomping Ground first, or did you want to hop into...
I don't know what that is.
Me either. I just heard of the name. I was hoping you guys were gonna...
That was also me with Blood Money. I'm like, is that what they're calling, like, their greatest show? Or what?
Going off that comment, though, about the Ethan Page thing, I think that's... It's just weird to see somebody, like I said, so well respected. He's one of those people, he's not gonna insult. That's why he is, like, he's mature, is a good way to put it. In the sense that he doesn't seem like the type that engages in much of, like, the dramatics of wrestling. But he does...
He kind of does sometimes. I've seen him call out so many people.
Well, I mean, like... But that's what I was getting to. Like, he's a lot like Jordan Grace, where they just expose it the way they see it. They're not going to go and, like, say something to somebody and then talk about it differently. Like, they're just open. You can kind of tweet them anything, and they're going to answer it if they see it with, like, an honest opinion. You're not going to get, like, some, oh, I'm signed with this company, some sort of, like, you know, softball bullshit.
Really, really good about them. Oh, so Caesar, we're kind of talking about right now the Killer Cross situation and how it has come to light that Scarlett and him both have, well, Scarlett has a 9-to-5 job on top of working Impact, and then Killer Cross was told that if he wants to make more money to support his family, he needs to get a second job. And I was saying, not that they're not doing a good enough job or working hard enough, but maybe they should try, like, expanding their bookings, because I haven't really seen them doing anything. And I was just saying, Scarlett, I only really see her doing conventions, and, you know, sometimes those can be hit or miss. And we were saying, like, somebody like Ethan Page is being booked literally everywhere. Like, I don't even think he has a day off. Like, I see him on random shows on Tuesdays and stuff like that being advertised. So it really has to do with more so your booking. You don't see him having, he hasn't really the regular job in his life. So
I did hear about I did see the interview. I did read about it, and I did. I think he mentioned something that, like, he does take, like, the extra bookings, but it's just one of those, like, things that, you know, an injury occurs and then, like, you know, something. But I mean, I kind of feel like Killer Cross's point in this, because, like, he's kind of someone that wants, like, like, okay, like right now on Impact, he's one of like the top guys on Impact. Like when you compare him from right now to a year ago, like a year ago, I don't think many people really knew who Killer Cross really was, and I think Impact's kind of given him the platform to really showcase his ability. And throughout that year, I think he's proven to be one of the best, promos, one of the best characters, not just in Impact, but like pretty much all of wrestling. And I think he's just someone that just kind of wants to he's someone that knows his worth, whether it actually is, the price that he's asking for is his worth. I don't know what exactly is the number. It's a six-figure deal, I believe, that a lot of the other Impact talents, main event talents are asking for. And I mean, it's just one of those things that it's just you just kind of get into the minds of what a wrestler goes through, not just, with the company itself, what the bookings, but it's just because I was also reading more about this. It's more so also when you take into consideration the bookings of the hotels and the car rentals and food and whatnot. It's they're making less than they're actually making.
Okay,
So.
no, I know that specifically this week they for New York they had to pay for their own hotels. In New York, hotels are crazy expensive. I know because I just but yeah, no, I 100% agree. I just think there are other ways to go about not exposing a company like that, but because I get that you don't work for them anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, if you have kind of what I was saying was if you have somebody like Ethan Page who's doing absolutely fine on their own, he's not even a main eventer, then
I also find it interesting because it's Killer Cross is still with the company right now. They're not granting his release, and he's going on to a public platform like Fightful, kind of openly discussing this thing, which is actually kind of what got Eli fired the last time. So I don't know if this is kind of Killer Cross finding a way to get out of his contract by doing the same thing that Eli did.
I think though too, Killer Cross didn't go on there to slander Impact the way he went on there because he was pissed that it even got released. He said that he was negotiating this with Impact people, and he said he felt once he saw the story online, he felt like he was trying to be sabotaged because here's his business with Impact, and he wanted it to remain confidential. He didn't want that getting out there, so once the articles were out there, he kind of did this Fightful interview to clear the air and make it more transparent instead of it being or whatever narratives are pushed online about it. He wanted it to be, come from the horse's mouth type of deal. So that's why he did that. So I think it's just, I feel like it's a tough situation because yes, you did sign a contract, but also I think I would be Killer Cross and Scarlett, I think they're two of the bigger stars for Impact when you take into consideration not necessarily their names. They are decent sized names, but when you take into consideration their longevity and the interest that they generate, because once Killer Cross got on Impact, yes, he wasn't super talked about, but I discovered him through FSW and other indie promotions, but he doesn't do that often we're talking about. And even Scarlett, she did a tour of Stardom, but that's not super often, and she does stuff with AAW, but that's not, that's one independent promotion. But when they go and they get on Impact, Scarlett's killed it on Impact. Even if they put her in shitty angles, she's generated interest. The same thing with Killer Cross. They haven't done what he's necessarily hoped for by the sounds of it, but he's been doing amazing as well. He's become an intriguing character on there. He's different than a lot of the others that they've signed in Impact's history, not just who they have to offer right now. But I do think that it is tough because Impact doesn't have to do this. Obviously, you did sign a contract, but in the same vein, it's if you're gonna invest in this talent and this talent can genuinely bring in a good product and perform to what you hope for, I say it's worth it. But I also you don't know numbers, you don't know the positioning. We'll never know that stuff for sure. But I think it does suck that when Impact does go invest money in idiotic areas, but then there's situations like this where, like I said, they don't have to. It could be about contract integrity for them, but instead of bringing in this person and certain people or signing certain people to certain types of deals, why not actually invest in your future by investing in a talent that is going to perform to what you hope? That's just how I feel.
Just going off like what you said, because like another one of the reasons that like Cliff Cross was talking about was just that a lot of that money was going into like, you know, some other people like, you know, like a Sabu or Rob Van Dam. And as much as I love Rob Van Dam, it's like I'm just watching him on Impact, and it's just that like it's not the same Rob Van Dam that we all know and love. Like yes,
Right.
you have a big name value with someone like Rob Van Dam, but I just don't think having him on your roster is just a good idea. And I think investing that money into putting into like, you know, keeping someone like Killer Cross and kind of making him your top heel, I think that should have been the way they should have gone.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like Sabu. I mean, I don't think anyone's really interested in Sabu. I mean, especially judging off Liv's face when I mentioned Sabu, I don't think Sabu's generating any interest. So
But
that's a questionable investment from Impact there.
Well, I think my faith in just them as in general, after hearing many like stories of like wrestlers' views on Sabu at least, which is why I make that face, and the way he not only treats people but like treats like Carrie himself and what he does on his own time. I think it's just sad hearing about, like we've talked about the past few weeks, is how Rob Van Dam literally said, it's just for money. Like, I'm only doing this for money, basically. Like, I don't care anymore.
I just think it's unfortunate because, correct me if I'm wrong, but last week when we started talking about this, and when we have talked about it in general, I get the impression Rob Van Dam, not necessarily the others, but Rob Van Dam has really made an impression on all of us, whether when we were younger or whatever. And there's a part of me that, like, when you put Rob Van Dam on a poster, I'm interested. I want to be intrigued. I want to be interested because I know what he's done for me in terms of my love for wrestling, much like, you know, you can compare it to talents like Bret Hart when he was at AEW. People are interested. What he's not performing, but it's that same type of interest. And part of me was excited, I'm not going to lie, when they signed him at first. But when he first showed up and I saw the condition he was in, then it starts to hurt why I fell in love with the talent when they were at their peak or when they were growing and coming into their own. And I think that hurts the perception of somebody. And I think if you do that for too long, now that value kind of goes down. And it's hard to recover from that because you can't backtrack and go back into your youth. So now you're leaving us with your last impression, and it's just mediocre stuff.
Well, and I think that kind of goes back to, like, the Goldberg and Undertaker thing, too. Like, how much is too much? Like,
well, that's...
I'll never not be... So, like, I popped when I saw Rob Van Dam come out, like, when on Friday. Like, I loved it. But, like, he didn't really do anything of, like, they kind of it was like a run-in type thing. I don't even remember. I think it might have been Moose.
Yeah, it's Moose.
Moose that he has an angle with. It was like a run-in thing. They were kind of attacking each other. But I still, like, was so excited. Same with, like, I think it's just, there's so much hype on just somebody's name, but they still, like, that is totally fine with me, but, like, just the way, I haven't really seen much of the other stuff, and if it has anything to do with Sabu, I'm not watching it. So, like, their tag match, no. But, I think it's just people hold on to the names a little too much and then get themselves disappointed once it doesn't live up to their own expectations based on what they've seen their favorites do in the past.
Right. And connecting that too to, like, the contract situation with them too. Why are you investing money in Rob Van Dam, Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, even for appearing and taking part in certain angles and everything, and then you're moving talents like Pentagon and Phoenix to the alumni page? So now that's like another thing.
Wasn't their thing, weren't they getting signed to that other company that we were going to discuss later? And I think that's probably why.
But they're also, aren't they signed to both?
No.
Well, they're not. No, they weren't exclusive to Impact. Nor do I think we're exclusive to MLW.
No, they're not exclusive.
I believe they're going to AEW as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're still working the other two.
That might have towards the end been a paid per appearance type thing.
Right, because they weren't at the Philly tapings or the New York tapings.
Even so, though, like, they're working two I'm gonna say two of the bigger companies, if you want to say that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody has different opinions on that. And then you include Impact in there, so that was technically 3, because they're taking part in we're taking part in MLW stuff. At one point, the top of what they had to offer, and then AEW. I mean, right at the beginning, and then you're working Impact, and you were even tag champs not too long ago, and it's just kind of like, you're moving them to the alumni page, but like going back to what I said, like Rob Van Dam. You're putting money into him to sign him. You're putting money into Sabu to show up. Like, I know that's not long-term finances going out the window, but that's still finances you're essentially throwing out the window, and Sabu is not going to give you a return on that. I don't see that happening. I don't see investing money in Sabu and you getting a return.
It was sad, the amount of us that were just like, because I was there on Friday, I just was like, I've already mentioned my distaste, but even everyone else was like, oh, that's Sabu, that's cool, and then he started wrestling, and we're like, and especially when he had the genie out, whatever, we're all like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what? What am I watching?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think it's just stuff like that. Yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's constantly Impact, like, stepping on their toes, and it's very easy. I'm not going to say it's easy to make business moves, especially when, we don't know the numbers. We only see a snapshot of everything that goes on. But it's like, it's easily identifiable to be like, why are you signing this person? They're disinterested. They literally even went on an interview and said, I'm doing it for the money. I get that. That's part of why anybody works a job. But...
especially at that age.
Right, but it's like... it just shows a level of disconnect, too, with what you're doing in your job. If that's, like, all you're focused on, and then when you see them get out there and they're just a fraction of what they had to offer it a long time ago. Now it's like, it's just kind of sad, because it's just like, I get that they're in a tough spot. We keep talking about this, like, they are in a tough spot in terms of TV, and apparently they are very hopeful, they're saying, in fall, that they have something, and that makes me concerned, because, like, anytime they've been very hopeful, sometimes it's the drizzling shits, and then other time it's something to get excited about, so we'll find out.
Drizzling shits?
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Like, literally, like, the club, I always think of that when I think of, we're getting hyped, articles, you couldn't friggin' find an article that wasn't about them signing with Impact or meeting with Impact. And then just before they go to sign, they're showing up on another company. And it's just like, it's stuff like that. It's situations like that that make Impact fans, well, the Impact fans that actually are realistic with themselves and want to see the company grow, irate. And it makes us hesitant going into the next deal and the next thing. And it's unfortunate because we've had a change in hands in terms of ownership how many times now? And it's been the same thing over and over again. So, like, we used to blame, Dixie. We used to blame Gaborik. We used to blame this person and that person. But it's like, as you go on and it keeps happening and you're not able to grow from it and you just keep ending up in the same positions, it's just kind of like, what is there? And it's just unfortunate for the talent, too. It's like, you get excited. They're doing amazing with pay-per-views, which used to be a huge problem. But now their weekly show, one week it's amazing, the next week it's yeah. And then, but also, you also have to take into account it's hard to access. So now a huge portion of Impact's fan base is, like, isolated, and if you're isolated for too long as a fan and you're not able to watch it or keep up to date, at least, you're going to fall out and go to something else. And when you have a company like AEW step in during this time for Impact, couldn't be worse timing, I don't think.
No, I do agree. But I do think, I don't agree with the specific names that they're bringing back, but I do think bringing back Sabu and RVD are, like, kind of trying to regenerate their foot traffic to even watch online. Just by being like, oh, Sabu still wrestles, let me go catch that. Or RVD still wrestles, let me go catch that.
Yeah.
The numbers on YouTube actually do pretty well. RVDs and Sabu, they do pretty well. They do, like, above, like, 200,000 over the weekend. So it's like, in that case, it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's like, what exactly are you getting from just YouTube views or Twitch views. Just
And I love when they do that, because it's always like, oh, our YouTube's grown more this month than it ever has any other month, and it's just kind of like, yeah, but nobody can friggin' watch you, so that's why. If people... Yeah, if people...
That's the only way anyone can see your show.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not... Don't go hype that stuff and try to, like, pull the wool over our eyes to just be like, oh, yeah, we're doing amazing, we're doing all this really cool stuff. Like, granted, that's great the YouTube's growing, but your weekly product is just not visible to so many people.
I can't speak on the Thursday show. The Friday show was literally sold out.
Mm-hmm.
And general admission itself was $30 per ticket. So and then plus they had like 4 or 5 seated areas and risers, and they had an upstairs section as well that are all separate prices. So they must do really well on the road. At least they did in New York.
Yeah.
Which I would assume they'll start going back to a lot more often, because it was literally sold out. And I walked in an hour late, and I didn't even expect it to be that busy. I was like, whoa, what is this?
They're booking good venues, it seems, too, now. Like, I think it's just...
But for this, like, sizing, it actually was very small compared to, like, the traffic that they amounted to.
Yeah.
And there were bars on each side of the risers that they had set up, so it did seem very, like, crowded in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really... I would probably guesstimate there were at least 300 people there. At least.
Yeah. They do well, I think, in that terms, but it's just... The TV situation's just killing them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, we have been mentioning about, talent coming back, such as Arvind and Sabu, but I think one talent that just recently made their return last week on TV was Jessica Havoc, coming back, joining the alliance of fathers James Mitchell and Sue Young. What did you guys think about the return of Jessica Havoc, her insertion into the storyline with Rosemary and Sue Young in the whole Undead realm? What do you guys think about that?
I think we were talking about that last week.
Oh, were we?
We were, weren't we?
A little bit.
It
hadn't happened, though.
Oh, yeah.
It was just kind of like...
But it just... But it also kind of seems like all of...
I think I had found it as we were off air, and we were still talking, I believe.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
I sent it to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's amazing. I felt bad when she left the company in the first place, because it was such... Not that it was like... It's one of those things where someone says something in the past, and they have to pay for it in the future, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally hate that whole situation whenever that happens, and I think she's amazing at what she does, and I think they put her exactly where she needs to be. So I'm excited to see it. I am upset that I was too late to even see her match on Friday, but I'm excited to see what she has to offer in the role that she's been given.
I was excited because I haven't been, over the years, I've been a huge supporter of hers, and she's always been one of my favorite indie talents, if you want to frame it that way. I just think I was bummed about what had happened, but I also put blame on her to a certain extent in terms of the fact that, like, the tryout deal and everything like that she did. I do think that she did have an opportunity with WWE. She took it and kind of just, I don't know. There's a whole situation there. We'll never know 100% of the truth, but I did think that was all kind of strange. But she was told to not say anything and say something, not say anything. I don't know. That all got mixed up. But I think it's unfortunate in that case. I do kind of blame all people involved, even Impact at that time. But I was happy to see her back. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I was excited for her to be an Impact before. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't get to do like a Havoc Kong thing, because that's something I really wanted to see, like a longer program. But I do think Havoc has like a whole mess of brand new opponents this time around. So I think it'll be interesting to see who they put her up against once this whole undead realm thing kind of dies down at some point, and see how they use her and who they put her against. I'm kind of interested to see who her first like rivalry is outside of the whole undead realm stuff, because it's obvious right now it's going to be with Rosemary.
Yeah.
I just hope that they don't oversaturate with the undead realm stuff. I hope that doesn't now become overly prominent where they're trying to put knockouts that don't belong in it, like they were kind of trying before.
It's interesting because this storyline's actually been going on for like well over a year since Sue made her debut back in March 2018.
Yeah.
When she debuted against Allie, and then it was the whole Braxton and Allie situation that then Rosemary got into, but then she got injured, and then it turned into the whole extra shenanigan stuff with all the pre-produced stuff that they use with all of the Broken Hardy stuff.
Yep.
But it is interesting to see because like we have seen like some knockouts kind of be inserted in there, like Jordan Grace, that she was just there to just be an extra body for Kiera Hogan to tag with, and it seems like they were taking her out from the whole Undead Realm thing and just kind of keeping it to like characters that I think make sense for a storyline such as this, because like we kind of mentioned it before with Kiera, she hasn't really been given much personality, especially for a storyline as big as this. So I think Havoc is a very good fit on this one, although it does seem like they are putting Taya into this. It seems like all of this is leading to a championship match with all four of them, and it's just going to be interesting to see if they do decide to take the title off of Taya and put it in this Undead storyline.
I'm kind of confused
because it's like you have like the knockouts. It's almost like you have the knockouts in one world, and the Undead Realm is a completely another world. And when you put the championship in that storyline, it's like, will any of the other women even get a chance? Because it's like, how do you just put someone like let's say Jordan Grace back into a situation like that again, or someone like a Tessa Blanchard, who if she ever wants to challenge for that title again, it's kind of hard to kind of keep those two worlds separate. But then it's like when you put them together, how do you really work with that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of confused. Like I don't see what they would do if Taya doesn't win this. Like I don't know. I just don't see the other three. Like I'm just confused as to what they would. Something feels off. Something's missing for me in terms of like Havoc. I don't think she's gonna come back and like win. She actually could very easily lose this match and she won't be hurt. Because she is so new into it.
I agree. That's kind of where I am with Taya right now. She's kind of done too much already in like the very little amount of people that little amount of people that they have right now. That it would, I think, like you were saying, but kind of opposite. It would hurt Taya to lose the belt. Like that's, right. I don't like when I get that certain way with some people.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of just been like she's kind of been the queen of the division for a little bit now. I don't know if I haven't really kept up with that portion, but I do know that she's had the belt for a while, or it's been like if not, it's been like a flip-flop.
January.
Yeah.
In January, she had it.
Did she have it before January as well?
Mm-mm.
She kind of lost it at one point? Or
no? No, she won it. I think, she's won it. She's held on to it since January, since she beat Tessa for it.
Oh, okay.
She hasn't lost it.
Oh, well, yeah, I kind of feel like there's nowhere for her else to go if she loses it. She kind of can't not be in the title picture, because then what else is she going to do? I feel like she doesn't have too much depth, honestly. I do really like her as wrestler. I just, unless they start doing stuff with her and Johnny, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's interesting because like Liv mentions that, and it's like you look at someone like Tessa, who I feel she's kind of gone through most of the division. It's like, what exactly does Tessa have to do now? And it seems like right now she's getting into a feud with Sami Callihan for the pay-per-view. Yeah. That's going to be the match.
But I feel like that's not really a position we can put Taya in, only because she hasn't really like solidified herself as an intergender wrestler, whereas Tessa's been doing that for a while, like in the indies before she signed.
Taya has been doing like some intergender stuff on Impact as well against like Brian Cage, and I think like last week, I think she kind of got herself involved with the Great Muda match at the Great whatever the Impact Plus show that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So she has been doing a lot more like intergender stuff with Johnny as of late. So like it's kind of like I do agree with Liv, like, what exactly does Taya have left if she's not in that title picture? But then again, it's like she doesn't really have much other challengers to face.
Yeah, and I feel like they can't really work on too much. They can't have a title picture and the Undead Realm and then start something else with Taya if she's not going to be in either one of those. Like, that's kind of my, like, opinion on the whole Charlotte thing. Like, I feel like if she's not in the title picture, she really has nothing else to do because she is one of those top tier main event women's wrestlers. For me, as sick of it as we are, I don't really think she can do much else. Well, not can, but I don't think she fits really elsewhere.
I just my feeling towards the match is like I don't see how this is beneficial if she loses, like all around. Like Havoc just
forever. That's my issue.
Yeah, but like Havoc just got in there, so like I think that would be too quick. Sue is literally was just somebody's property. So like I see Sue is really weak right now on Impact. Like her character, she used to be like the thing that haunted the fucking division, and now she was literally just Rosemary's bitch 2 weeks ago. Like, how can you do that and then win the title and like expect us to just be like, oh well, she's champion now, so she's back to
now she's the queen of the knockout.
Yeah, and then for me, I mean, I hate saying this because I love Rosemary. But ever since she's returned, I feel like they've just put her in positions where it's not been the same before she got injured.
I feel like they might be nervous to put her on full blast for right now.
Yeah.
With her just coming back.
So it's kind of like
happens sometimes.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, for me, the only thing that I can think of, like, if Taya lost it, I mean, I hope she doesn't, to be honest, because, like, I just don't see it being interesting with the others. Not that they're not worthy of being champion, I just feel like the position they're in, like, you have to build them up. And I just think the clear two people right now that you can really only put the belt on is Taya or Tessa. And if Taya loses, I could definitely see her and Tessa, like, mending their friendship or relationship for now and start doing some intergender stuff, and they could be like standing up for the knockouts because they've done stuff with like Hakeem Zayn and the other, or he's not even Hakeem now, but I don't know, I hate that whole thing. But like they were making fun of Alicia, saying like women are inferior and stuff like that. They've kind of hinted towards that stuff throughout, but it's never gone anywhere. But that sentiment has still been in the product to build up heels and make the women faces, so they're fighting against something. I could definitely see Taya and Tessa teaming up to fight for that cause, and then kind of backtracking later and going into a rivalry. But then it's like, what do you do with the knockouts? Like, the only other person that I see, actually, other than Taya and Tessa being prominent is Scarlett, but it's not in in-ring competition. She's been like...
I was gonna say, wait a second.
She's been prominent in terms of character, where, like, Havoc, she just got there, you know what I mean? So that's cool and everything, but we need time with that. Sue, she's really weak right now, in my opinion. And Rosemary, it just hasn't been the same yet because of the... Like, I think you're right. They're hesitant right now. So if you're hesitant, you're not going to put the title on them, logically. So, like... And I don't see them... they should not put the belt on Scarlett. But I'm just saying, like, character-wise, like, any sort of prominence other than Taya and Tessa, it's definitely Scarlett.
I think my only saving grace right now is that Gail Kim is kind of leading the Knockouts division in terms of backstage, like, writing, I hope. I'm not exactly sure what she does. I know she's an agent.
She's a producer. Yeah, she's a producer that helps, like, put together the matches. She's not, like, part of creative. At least I don't think. I'm pretty sure she's just, like, helping with the matches. Yeah. But not creative.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So, but... She in being a producer though, you'd have to have some say, and be like, wait, that is stupid.
Yeah, like I'm sure, like, as a female voice, she has some say into like what the knockouts, like what to expect from the knockouts. But I think like most of the creative is just left to like I think it's Conan and Tommy Dreamer, I think.
Conan is very good with like not women's rights, but like making sure women are taken care of properly in wrestling, like storyline wise, making sure things aren't like stupid. Like that's one good thing. I've listened to his podcast a couple times.
I just
like,
know
he has
for
a lot of respect for women's wrestlers.
yeah. I know for a fact Gail Kim isn't a writer because Disco won a Knockouts Battle Royal not too long ago. So she would have never booked that. She would have never written that. If she had any say...
Most of Gail Kim's writing actually comes from Twitter, so...
Yeah, true. T. But it's just, I mean, Count said in chat, Jordan Grace is still strong. I agree, she is strong. And I think that match with Taya...
That's my favorite women's wrestler they have right now.
Her match with Taya was great. I think that did elevate her. But it's just that she's literally not even in the upcoming title match, so it's just going to be interesting. I mean, they would have to do very little building to get her to be, like, champion worthy. So that would be a good pick, but I mean, obviously she's not going to win a match she's not in, and then that would take a little bit of time. It wouldn't take much time, but it has to be in the cards for them to actually do it.
Yeah, she was a guest commentator at the show I was at for Kira, and I don't remember who she wrestled. I don't know, but
was it a local talent or was it on the roster?
I think it was roster, but I don't even remember at this point. But she was, let me see if I still have it. But she was commentating, and usually like when like they do that is like kind of foreshadowing that they're gonna either feud together or
they've been feuding these last couple weeks on television, Kira and Jordan.
So I am hoping that they put them and into the title picture, because I think Jordan Grace right now would be one of their best options if they're going to take the belt off of Taya and not give it back to Tessa and do the flip-flop game, because I hate that.
I think the problem with the Monsters Ball match too is you have two people on the same alliance, if you will, in the Monsters Ball match, and then you have Rosemary, who's literally their biggest enemy, and then Taya, who's not friends with any of them. So it also kind of just feels, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It just feels one-sided.
It might have been Madison, because I remember seeing her.
I forgot.
It was Madison. I actually just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
It just seems weird because it just seems like one of those matches where like they don't really have anything for Taya. Like as we mentioned, like she doesn't really have much other opponents other than those involved in the undead realm, which kind of just makes Taya kind of feel out of place in this match.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I don't know. It just like I'm excited for the match. I think it'll be a good match. It's just kind of if Taya doesn't win, that will be kind of weird for me.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly have no opinion on that. I love women's wrestling, but their shift in champions is just odd to me.
It's just kind of...
They keep doing the flip-flop. Like, they kind of do the Becky Charlotte thing. To me, with Tessa and Taya, they feel like those are their top tiers, so they kind of just keep going back and forth with them.
It's just, I don't know. It kind of sucks because it feels like they're messing up the thing that they've almost always done right.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of on the line right now, and depending on what they do, like it could definitely end up hurting. And if it hurts, then it's like, all right, well, a big reason why people watch Impact is now being affected. Did you guys watch Jordan versus Kira this week on Impact?
I did not check that match out.
I was not able to watch either, unfortunately.
Last
show.
Last Thursday, or was that the Saturday show?
Last show aired.
On the Twitch episode.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. I was at that show, and I didn't see that match.
No, this one was the last one from the Philly tapings.
I didn't know.
Yeah, apparently it was very good. So I'll have to check that out, and maybe they'll be reassuring in terms of Kira's positioning, because she's just kind of been there, and Jordan, hopefully that helps like add a little bit of that
I
oomph.
like that she redyed. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
no, you're good.
I was gonna say I like that she redyed her hair into the blue, so like she was the red. She was like the girl on fire, and now she's like ice, and I think that's really cool. I think that's funny, like play on words and hair kind of a thing. Now that she's out of the Undead Realm picture and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, like I saw her come out and I was like, blue? What?
Yeah.
Well, shifting gears, let's talk about AEW. Tomorrow...
Wait. Let's not shift gears because we did have one very important return.
Okay, we could talk about another return of another former Impact champion that, Olivia, would you like to kind of take us through what happened last Friday night? Or last weekend?
Okay.
You weren't at the Thursday.
I wasn't at the Thursday, but it was the same exact match.
Yeah.
Same. So, we had the return of TJ Perkins, formerly known as Suicide or Manic.
Which I kind of want to point out, it took us about 4 years, but all we wanted was TJP, and we got him. It took 4 years. It took 4 years, but we got it. So.
Yeah, he wrestled Ace Austin, which is actually one of my favorite indie wrestlers right now, so I'm so excited. And I got to see that match a second time. Ace Austin apparently has been undefeated and was defeated by TJ Perkins twice on their product. So that's exciting. No deals have come yet, but we never know what the future may hold. And
what was kind of like the reaction when TJ kind of came out? Thursday, like apparently he got like a really big reception. He got like a lot of welcome back chants, and like the audience was pretty into him. But like in terms of the second night, like what was kind of the reaction?
He did get a really big pop. He got a lot of TJP chants. I do think I was confused because when he came out, the way that his Titantron is set up was really odd, which I guess he told me that he actually designed that himself. That's what he originally wanted to do when he was in WWE, that they did for him. I had no idea that was even him until they, till 5 seconds later, the Titantron said TJP, and I'm like, oh, that's my friend, that's cool. But,
I know him.
It was one of those moments because it was 8 o'clock, and he told me his timing was 8 o'clock-ish, and it was right after 8 that I walked in, and I'm like, oh my god, did I miss it? And then the next match happens, wasn't that, and then that happens, and I'm like, oh, I definitely missed it because I don't know who this is, and then it ended up being him, so I was like, oh, this is cool. But I told him, I was like, that's definitely not you. He's like, I actually designed that, and I was like, okay. But yeah, that was exciting.
Was it anything like a video game theme, in WWE, or was it just
Not really. To me, it kind of had more of a travel theme. It looked like maps. I don't even remember, to be honest, exactly what it was, but I remember thinking, what is this? And then seeing his name and being even more confused afterwards. I'll have to look it up again. But it looked like maps. And I don't even remember the music, honestly, either. Because it was something totally different. Yeah, shift gears again.
Well,
Or is that just, I was like, are they just saying blood money because it's Saudi and they have to go there because they gave them $1 billion? They're calling it blood money? I don't know.
Oh, we lost.
He was very upset by that comment, I guess. He really liked blood money.
Yeah, he liked the show. He was excited for Goldberg's return. And he actually left us, it appears.
Though.
Yeah,
and again.
Yeah, he left. He just said screw it. He's gone. We have to call him. All right, but let's just dive into a topic. Well, hopefully we get him back. If not, his contract's running out. Not really. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, he's back.
Do the bongos.
Hello.
His entrance music.
Yeah, his entrance music. He's doing this to us on purpose. He's just gonna come on with the Shara dance. So, well, to be honest, I can't really talk about, yeah, contract renewals.
Sorry, where are we going with that?
We were trying to go with Stomping Ground, but I was hoping that you guys were going to be more knowledgeable than I was, and I think we're on the same page with that. So,
So we're gonna skip. Well, Caesar said we'd probably skip that subject because no one cares.
Okay.
He literally did. He was like, I don't know anything about this, so.
All right,
That's probably bad because we do like a wrestling show. Like, I know a lot about everything else, and I get like little updates, but.
Well, I think the thing too is I think you look at who we have on here, like all four of us, and Steven does watch regularly, but then I know I don't in terms of WWE product, and I get the impression that you don't. I think you and me kind of just get updates from Twitter. That's the impression I get. And then
I don't even think I've watched an actual episode probably in well over a year.
Right. And I think Caesar does stay up to date more so than just through Twitter, but even him, I get the impression where it's kind of just like
dwindling.
Not a wonderful experience when he's tuning in. But I think one thing we can jump into, start talking about Impact a little bit. Unfortunately, we got some updates about, I don't know if you saw this, but Killer Cross and how they're talking about how he went to them and he basically said, you know, he has his family to take care of, and they basically told him, well, if you want more money, then get another job along with this. And then I guess Scarlett is working a 9-to-5 job on top of being a part of Impact. That's something else that was mentioned. I think it was in the Fightful article. If not, it may have been through another outlet. But most of the stuff is coming right out of Fightful. And the thing that I got bad about this is, like, Impact, obviously, over the years, anybody that's watched them for even a month knows that the reputation they've had in terms of money and revenue and all of that stuff. And it's always been a battle. Sometimes it's been lied about. Sometimes the truth hasn't always been present. Sometimes it's made to sound worse. Sometimes it's been made to sound better. But it's really unfortunate how Ethan Page has been, like, hyping up Impact, and then something like this comes out, because Ethan Page is, like, a well-respected wrestler.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, I do have, like, friends, like, I'm not gonna like go specifics, you know, but I know a lot of, like, that area, like, stuff about that, which I can go, like, off air and stuff, but I haven't seen, like, I think it's more of, like, if you're trying to, like, for them, if you're trying to sign a big name for a long extended contract, that's when you're going to have issues. But if you're paying them per appearance for now, they seem to be doing fine.
Right.
My thing with Killer Cross and Scarlett is I don't see them taking many bookings outside of just appearances. Like, I know Scarlett does a lot of conventions, and those can be hit or miss. So if they were taking, I don't really know anything about Killer Cross, but I would just assume that if they're not making that much money, then they're not getting bookings for enough places, like, outside of Impact.
Right.
Because I see Ethan Page everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I know he's done a lot. He's kind of like a lower, like, I love him to death. So it's going to sound like an insult, but it doesn't mean like it at all. He's one of, like, the indie made big names.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like the Young Bucks in the fact that they kind of turned down all of their big contracts to stay on the indies and make their money that way.
Right.
So, I don't know.
And I agree with that. Something that I was gonna. Hello.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So sorry. I would like to apologize to everyone for my unprofessionalism of cutting in and out. I was out of the weekend, and I used up all of my data connection. I know that there's no excuse for this lack of preparedness, and I would like to deeply apologize to each and every single one that I have affected. I am better than this. I will definitely try better next time to be prepared, and I hope that you can all forgive me, and we can all just let this pass by. Let us have a wonderful show tonight. I'm here. I'm good. And let us have the best show possible. Let's go. All right.
Break. And break.
So